Hey everyone, happy Victory Monday for the third straight week on the Panthers postgame show. Kristen Balboni here with Panthers legends Mike Tolbert and Al Wallace. Al, 13-6 win over the Jets. This was a strong defensive performance.
It's a defensive game. 13-6, I'll take that. That looks like the defense goes out there and completely dominates and eats up the New York Jets. You got to love this unit that's starting to build that identity, starting to look like Carolina Panthers football.
And Mike, I was going to ask you about that 3 in a row now, 4 of the last 5. What is that feeling in the locker room like?
Oh, you're loving it. This is probably one of the first Victory Mondays that they can come in and just kind of relax, watch the tape, get better. But they know they got some things to build on, but the defense definitely held strong yesterday.
They sure did. All right, Bryce Young got stepped on. Well, his ankle got stepped on. He went into the locker room. We saw Andy Dalton for the fourth quarter. We don't have any information beyond what we saw. Coach Canales gave a few updates. I expect we'll hear more today and throughout the week. But guys, you know, Al, as a player, you see your quarterback go down. It's tough no matter what, right?
Yeah, it's difficult because Bryce has been the leader. This team has improved because Bryce has settled into his role at quarterback, and he feels comfortable. You look at the plays that are made, he's operating in that offense, and to see him go down, you have to hold your breath. They're going to wait. We're going to wait for that report to see the health of Bryce going forward.
But Mike, then you know you've got a veteran like Andy Dalton who came in and closed out that game right there. Got that big first down to ice the game right when we needed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to have a veteran presence. You know, in the locker room, there's always this next man up mentality. So Andy is going to be ultimate pro. He's going to always be ready when things unfortunately does happen. But this is when the scouts earn their money. You know, having the right guy in the back ready to go. So that's a good thing about it.
All right, let's take a look at everything that happened in that win right now as we look back on the Panthers' victory over the Jets. All right, we're going to go ahead and start it in the second quarter. It's 3-3 right here. Trevor Etienne on this return, I mean, he had quite the day. Great day for special teams. 15-yard punt return right here to get the Panthers moving toward that side of the field. Great return by him. And then what this does, guys, is it sets up Teteroa McMillan. Of course, we're going to call his name. 11-yard catch right here on 3rd and 14 to set up a manageable 4th down, Al.
Yeah, simple route, but a veteran route. Just watch T-Mac on a crossing route. Take a peek. He sees the soft spot right there in the zone. He takes it back the other way. Shows some of that speed and run after the catch.
And then right after that, 11-yard catch on that 4th and 3. Always love to see the Panthers going for it. And that was a long 4th down right there, but T-Mac getting it done once again. And then Mike right here, a little screen pass to Chuba Hubbard, and he ends up taking it for 26 yards. How'd he do it?
I mean, you know, he set up the blocks very well. You know, I wish he would have got a goal call a little bit sooner. Might have been able to house that, but, you know, we're excited to see Chuba back out there playing good football.
And then to the 3 right here, Al, what'd you see?
Yeah, you just look at Chuba right here. Those big guys, the entire offensive line is just right out in front of Chuba Hubbard. But just a great setup, a great call by Dave Canales.
And guys, then we see Bryce Young with all day right there, able to essentially just chase down Xavier Legette and say, hey, I'm going to throw it to you. And this was the lone touchdown of the game.
Yeah, one thing I love about Bryce is his ability to maneuver in the pocket. I'd like to go back and chart how many times Bryce is kind of using his feet to create more time and more opportunity to connect with his receivers in the end zone.
He sure did. And great day by Xavier Legette, who got off to a start that he probably wasn't as happy with. And we're certainly going to talk about him a little bit later. But right now, we got to talk about Trevor Etienne. 45-yard kick return to start the second half. Great way to bookend the first half and start out that second half. Mike, what he's doing in the return game and then coming in when they needed him is great.
I mean, he's definitely helping create field position. I mean, he's as a rookie coming in, being able to do that, he's doing an amazing job, man.
And then someone who's definitely not a rookie, we just saw it right there on another 4th down, Rico Dowdle, 12-yard run right there, Mike.
Yeah, Rico he's a man on the moon right now. He's doing his own thing, and you can't hate him for it. You got to love the way he's playing the game.
But then, Al, we see this right here. Well, after the Ryan Fitzgerald 29-yard field goal put the Panthers up by 10 right there. Ryan Fitzgerald, of course, like I said, having a great day for special teams. Then we see Justin Fields, Al, get benched for Tyrod Taylor. They're trying to get something going right here.
Yeah, just trying to get some life in that New York Jets offense. Change. They call into the bullpen, get the veteran Tyrod Taylor in there to see if he can get him going.
It started out okay, but then we see things like this. Nick Scorton on the sack. That was one of 6, Al, on this one.
Yeah, just incredible. You watch this defensive line, this front, and the job they did with 6 sacks. They just decided we're going to contain these running quarterbacks and push the pocket until we can get to them. Just a great game plan by Coach EJ.
However, though, this is the Bryce Young sack where he got stepped on. We're going to see it a couple times. It could be worse. Right, we say as we watch this, of course, we don't know, and you hate to see that. He goes down, goes to the locker room right there, but, able to walk right here. We certainly hope he's okay.
Yeah, it's just sometimes it's just the little things, little tweaks. He's not walking too bad, but they're going to have precaution with Bryce. We talked about how good he's been for this team.
And then what about this play? J.C. Horn, one-handed interception looking like Joe Horn out there in the end zone.
JC is just playing great zone coverage. It appears that he's beat, but he has the confidence that he has the makeup speed to come back and get that ball out of the air. And how many times do we have to watch JC make a one-handed catch and the body control, Mike T, to get his feet inbounds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go now to the middle of the fourth quarter. Tyrod Taylor again, 35-yard pass to Tyler Johnson. And then we see this 9-yard pass to Alan Lazard to get into field goal range. And then Nick Folk doing what he does. He's going to make this 47-yarder, making things interesting right here. 13-6. Panthers go 3 and out. Jets get the ball back. But then, we were just talking about him, J.C. Horn, Al, second interception of the day.
Yeah, JC understands this route. He's watching the hips, head around, snaps around, goes up. This one's mine. We're going to take it down to the end zone to celebrate with the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. And then the Panthers need a first down to ice this game, and they get it. Andy Dalton to Xavier Legette. We're going to watch this one a couple times. And Mike, just to get that first down right there and be able to just say, okay, we can take a breather.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you can just put the ball in the air and say ball game is what you want, and then for Xavier Legette, the confidence that this brings into this kid is going to be special for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Well said. There's the victory handshake right there. As we said, Panthers win that one 13-6. Al, I want to start with you. We talked about generating pressure right here. We're looking at these numbers, and then you look, 5 sacks. You were saying this in our pre-show meeting. 5 sacks through weeks 1 through 6. 6 sacks in week 7. What was the difference in this game?
I think you just look at the game plan that Coach Avero laid out against Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields are very mobile quarterbacks who can escape. This team, this front, they understood what they can do. Patrick Jones out for the season, the young guys getting an opportunity, and they just figure out, hey, this is the plan we have to make sure we get the quarterback on the ground. Quarterback on the ground or quarterback in a rush, balls in the air. You saw the interceptions to go along with it.
Mm-hmm. And Mike, we know that this team has been stopping the run in a big way. You know that. But to see them getting pressure on the quarterback, as you were just saying about confidence with Xavier Legette, this has got to do a lot of confidence for this line.
Absolutely. I mean, this defensive line, obviously anchored by Derrick Brown, the big guy up front, but everybody's getting in on the action. That's what you want when you can rush 4 guys at the passer and he's getting affected, getting him off his spot, putting the ball in the wrong places, getting picked by J.C. Horn and those guys on the back end. This defense is set to make a special season going forward, and I'm excited to see it.
And Al, one thing that we talked about, and we just saw it right there with Princely Umamielen, it wasn't just Justin Fields, the starter, that the Panthers were getting sacks on. 3 on Fields, 3 on Tyrod Taylor. So they showed, those are 2 very different quarterbacks. So they showed this ability to get pressure no matter who was playing quarterback.
Yeah, it talks about a system, a larger system that is now in place for this football team, this defense to thrive under Avero. Here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan. We're going to throw 3-4 guys in there. We expect the same production out of everyone to go out there. 3 against both quarterbacks speaks to the consistency that this unit is starting to play with.
One thing I want to talk with you guys about, and Al, since it's a defensive topic, we'll start with you. The defensive leaders. We've seen big games from J.C. Horn. We've seen big games from Derrick Brown pretty much every week. But they talked a few weeks ago about this team stepping up, right? And taking those great weeks of practice and putting them into a game. As you see your leaders step up and have the game that they had, what does that do for the rest of this defense?
Yeah, it pulls everybody along. Just such youth on that defensive side of the ball, especially those edge rusher. It just allows them to have a blueprint, something they can go out and mimic, whether that's in practice, certainly in the game. You expect the guys with the C's on their jersey to be the premier players, not just by how they perform on Sundays, but by how they work Monday through Thursday and go out there and get it done. So you watch J.C. Horn, you see Derek Brown, you see the grind that they put in, Ashawn Robinson, all those guys who have so many football snaps under their belt just absolutely paved the way and showed the young guys what it means and what it looks like to play Carolina Panthers defense, and I couldn't be more excited.
Mike, we saw plenty of points in last week's game against the Cowboys, but then when you have a defensive game like this, your offense puts up 13 points. What does it mean to you on the sidelines when you go out and watch your defense do what they did?
Well, we're always excited on the offensive side. When our defense is getting sacks and they're getting interceptions, we want to go out on the sidelines and celebrate with them. We want to run to the end zone as well, but we also understand that we got to go out and do our job on the offensive side of the ball, right? So it's really fun when it's a complete game. You saw that was a complete game yesterday. The offense played well. They ran the ball well. You had some guys at receiver that were able to do the things the right way. Obviously, we lost Bryce a little bit, but the special teams played well. The defense obviously played lights out. So it's a fun time. It's a great Monday morning.
Absolutely.
And great to see another different win that we're chalking up. You know, we've seen a big comeback win. We've seen that shutout against Atlanta. We saw battling back and forth with the Cowboys, and now we see this defensive effort, guys. And Mike, when you have that and you've won in all these different ways, is that another way that you can say, look, no matter the situation, we're winning ball games?
It's just another checkbox. It makes you understand that, like, we have what it takes. You know, offensively, defensive, special teams, we have what it takes in this building to win ball games. It doesn't matter how we got to win. There's no such thing as an ugly win, right? Like they say in golf, there's no pictures on the scorecard, right? A W is a W, and we're going to take it.
That's right. We heard Coach Canales say the exact same thing in the locker room. Always those great clips of the locker room speeches on Instagram. You can go and check that out. And speaking of Coach Canales, we're going to talk about the running back situation right now. We saw Chuba Hubbard come back. We saw the running backs split carries where it had been Rico Dowdle the last couple of weeks. Here is what Dave Canales had to say about the way in which that worked.
Were you guys able to stick to whatever plan you had coming into the game with regards to how you used Chuba and Rico, or were there alterations that you guys had to make just based on what the defense was showing you?
It just came out like we thought. You know, we just switched some series and let those guys go out there and play some football for us. And, you know, we were able to find some yards in different ways, some screens, some different things like that. And then, you know, as they were trying to, you know, make things difficult, you know, we were able to get the ball on the edge a couple of times with Rico in there. So I just thought it was a good day of both guys running physically, running aggressive, and it ended up paying off for us.
So, Mike, we saw Chuba Hubbard come back and get the start there, and then they split series just right down the middle. It went Chuba, Rico. What did you make of that situation now that Chuba's back in the mix?
Well, I anticipated it a little bit. You know, Chuba is the guy. He's been the guy for a few years now. But Rico coming into this team, he found his place, right? The past few weeks, he's been running the ball well. He's been very effective in the passing game. You know, and I equate it to the Panthers teams of the past. They always had two great running backs, whether that was Deshaun Foster and Stephen Davis or D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Even more recently, Cam and Christian, right? There's always two threats out of the backfield, you know, that make defenses have to prepare for. So I look forward to seeing how Coach can ingratiate all of these guys into the offense and continue to do better.
Al?
Yeah, I love it. I think if you're a fan of football and you know these two guys, you know what Rico Dowdle did as a Cowboy just a year ago, 2,000-yard backs. You had to understand that at some point both of those guys were going to eat. Now, unfortunately, that came kind of at the cost there of Chuba Hubbard getting hurt. But the bottom line is these are 2,000-yard backs that are in this Carolina Panthers backfield, and both of them deserve to be on the field. And I thought Dave Canales and this staff on the offensive side did a great job of making sure they both got touches and they were impactful. And you can see how confusing that's going to be. That's going to be a nightmare for defenses, game planning for a guy. The great part also on the offensive side, similar body sizes, like Mike talked about, skill sets, so you don't have to change up the offense. D'Angelo, you know, and those guys, some of them, they're different, right? Stu, they're different body types. Stephen Davis, Deshaun Foster, both of these guys, you pick your poison. They're both going to cook you at the end of the day.
Right.
And that's what Coach Canales said to me a couple of weeks ago. He said, it is so refreshing, it's so freeing as a play caller to know that I can call whatever I want no matter who is in the game, we can stick to the play calls that we want to have. Mike, and Al has been saying this all season long. I know you echo it. Also, the importance of keeping those guys fresh, right, throughout the season, because you're going to need both of them.
Right. I mean, it is a long season. We understand that it's a marathon and not a sprint. But whenever you can go from featuring one guy and then adding somebody else into the mix to featuring both guys, and then sprinkling in T-Mac and Xavier, getting Sanders back at the tight end position has been big for us as well. Offensive line's playing well. I'm very excited about the future of this offense.
All right, coming up, we talked about it a little bit, about that pressure that the Panthers were able to generate, which led to those J.C. Horn interceptions. Al is going to break those down a little bit further. But first, guys, let's hear what J.C. Horn had to say about this defensive performance.
Impact of what you saw from this defense?
Just us staying together as a defense. We knew coming into the game, they had a good defense, and we were going to have to outplay them. That's one thing Coach E said all throughout the week. Like, we're going to have to create takeaways and outplay their defense. And that's what we did today on every position group. Defensive line dominated, stopping the run, and getting back there, pressuring the quarterback. And I think we missed probably like 3 or 4 sacks too. So they played their ass off, and we just got to get back to the drawing board tomorrow and get ready for next week.
All right, Mike, back here on the Panthers post-game show, we're going to break down a dominant defensive performance. This unit has been rolling here the last couple of weeks. No Pat Jones, he's out of the lineup. 2 young defensive end edge rushers in there. So Coach Evero, he has to be creative about how this team generates pass rush. They get after it. 5 sacks through the first 6 weeks of the season. And here they go. They pull out 6. And we're going to show you right here how they get it done in some simple ways and then also some very creative ways on that defense. Right here, we're just going to stop it. We have 4 down alignment. And what we're going to see right here, it can be a TE stunt, which means tackle first, end second, right? We're going to see the big man, Derek Brown, who's going to generate some attention right here. He's going to rush up the field. Then we're going to see young Princely kind of go up the field. This just ugly situation here by the tight end, but he's going to fold back underneath, and he's going to find a way to get to Tyrod Taylor here, who came into this football game. We'll go ahead and play that. Let's look at Derek Brown. Gets in that gap, makes it easy. Now, it could be a TE stunt, but as dominant and as quickly as Derek Brown took that B gap, Mike, there is no way to stop Princely Umanmielen for coming inside and getting that sack.
Right. I mean, when you see Derek Brown beat the guard so easily, it's like, oh, that's a big gap for me right there to go inside.
Run to daylight.
Run to daylight and make a play. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, so we'll keep it going right here, and that's just a simple way that this football team is able to get it done. Here's another example right here. We'll just back this back up just a little bit so you can see they come out again, 4-man rush, and then I think the game plan when you have 2, not just 1, because we saw 2 athletic, escapable quarterbacks come into the game, is what we call a mush rush, right? Let's just make it ugly. Let's make it dirty. What we're going to do is push the pocket. We're going to put it in the lap of the quarterback. And when he tries to find an escape lane, we're going to come off and make a tackle. So you just look at Derek Brown. He's going to go and occupy 2 guys. Big man, A'Shawn Robinson, he walks his guy all the way to the back of Justin Fields, and you can kind of see some of the frustration. Now, those are simple. Here's how it gets complex. Here's the game planning. Here's the scheming that you have to love from Coach Evero. This is Trevin Wallace. This is a linebacker right here. He's going to walk up. He's going to take the eyes of this offensive tackle. Here's your guard, right? A'Shawn Robinson's going to kind of make a move right there. He's going to occupy that center. Mike, and you could tell me about the protection where you're going to see from this running back and how they get this done. But this guy walking up right here disrupts and dictates everything that this offensive line is going to do. And it is great coaching. It's great scheme to bring pressure with multiple guys when you need to generate pass rush.
Absolutely. So the Jets right now, evidently this game plan was to make Justin Fields confused, right? So what they wanted to do was get this guy out, right? So this is what we call scat protection. That means the running back, he's going right now, has no protection responsibility. But Justin Fields, he has to see that you got a linebacker here. You probably have a nickel over there, safety coming here with another DB right there. We're in that nickel protection, right? So this back should, in essence, if the line is going here, this back should have to go out wide here, back to this safety, right? But they in scat protection, so they don't have enough. They don't have enough at all. So as we clear and we see it, there's going to be a free rusher because the nickel's coming here, safety right up the middle. It makes it so much easier when nobody's trying to block you.
Yeah, just incredible to have a free runner right there. Those two guys occupy. We're talking about how they're going to slide. And here comes Trevon Moore, right up there. Free runner, Justin Fields. Doesn't have time to react. And this is how Coach Aviro said, you know what? We're down somebody's on the defensive line. Those edge rushers aren't in there. So we're going to find a way to dictate the protection we want to get a free runner at your quarterback. Just incredible game planning and execution right here by a defense that gave up 6 points on Sunday. Now, here's that man. Let's just stop it right here on this dude right here. We talked about it. We all knew it. We watched him. You know, all the adversity he had at the beginning of his career. He got paid. He got rewarded. He told us, I believe that he's a top 5 cornerback in the league. He's going to show you why. He's been doing that. When he's on the field, nobody's better than J.C. Horn. All right, so we're going to just stop it right there, right? You see this spacing right here, Mike? It looks like J.C. Horn is beat. And you said it earlier, is almost kind of baiting this quarterback, Justin Fields, into this throw right here, because it looks like J.C. Horn is beating the wide receivers behind him. Morg is here, kind of taking away the underneath. You're going to see Nick Scott on the back end show up late. J.C. understands his coverage. He's a veteran, but also he believes in his skill set. I'm going to be able to recover on this. Just watch this man recover. Hits the gas, one hand, makes Pops proud, finds the body control and the footwork to get inbounds. J.C. Horn dominates. Is why he wears the C on his chest. Is why he got rewarded this offseason.
It's hard to find a better technical player that plays the position of cornerback than J.C. Horn. He understands the coverages. He understands his opponent's speed, his opponent's strengths and weaknesses as well. Like right here, he knows exactly what route this is. Right, yeah. He knows exactly what it is. So he has the ability to turn and use his great ball skills to find the ball.
And this is what I want to talk about, technique, right? The footwork is always going to be there for J.C. Horn. But look at his eyes. I want to just draw your eyes. His eyes are right there. They're not on the shoulders doing all the wiggling. They're not on the feet that are going all those different directions. His eyes are on the hips. Where the hips go, the body goes. J.C. Horn knows that. But like you said, game planning, film work, he knows where this ball's going. I'm going to slow that route down, snap that head around, come up with another play. And then my favorite part, this is what I loved about that 2015 team that you all played on here as J.C. Horn catches that ball. You guys knew how to celebrate. That says it all right there. What are we doing? Are you kidding me? No, we're not kidding you. We went up to New York in your building, took a victory for 3 in a row for the Carolina Panthers. Impressive defensive performance, and you can win football games like that.
First and goal, Panthers. Young. Can he find anybody? Yes, he can. Touchdown, Xavier Legette. A patience. Bryce Young with a little bit of a flip between traffic to Legette.
All right, that was the lone touchdown in this game, and it was Bryce Young to Xavier Legette. And Mike, when you look at this game for him, career high in targets, receptions, and receiving yards in that game, and he's really come on strong since he came back from that injury.
He has. You know, it's one of those things where, like, you look at his confidence. You look at the way he goes out, like the top of his routes are more crisp right now. He understands that he can be a vital part of this offense if he just does things the right way out.
Yeah, I think when you look at XL, the one thing that sticks out to me is that, you know, I wasn't a hooper, Mike, so I think when you're a shooter and you see it go through, that's the rhythm. Golf, you get in that swing, that groove, and you figure it out. I think it's taken XL maybe longer than this fan base, and a lot of us wanted to, but you look at this kid, his skill set, his body type, his talent, and his patience, right? He is a lot like Bryce, where things maybe didn't start off like you wanted them to, but he never flinched. XL never flinched, and now he's in a position. All those targets and the catches, the 33-yard game-sealing reception from Andy Dalton tells me that this kid is just prepared, and he's just going to continue to go out and chop wood and get better each and every week.
And guys, to me, you know, it felt like the first couple of games, it was mostly about Tedero McMillan and the running back. It was, you know, of course, Chuba Hubbard. But now we're looking, Xavier Legette's coming on. Of course, Tedero Hetero McMillan is doing what he does. Jimmy Horn, couple of big plays in that game. And then you've got Rico Dowdle. Then you've got Chuba Hubbard. Mike, as an offense, what differences are you seeing? They have the ability to be explosive, to really confuse defenses and say, hey, look, if you're going to target us over here, we're going to go over here.
Well, I think it starts at the top. I think it starts with Coach Canales and the play calling. I think he is at a position now where he's comfortable with Excel, with T-Mac, with Chuba, with Rico. You know, he's comfortable with all the guys that I can call a play specifically for T-Mac. But if he's not there, I know Excel is going to be on the dig, or I know Rico is going to be where he needs to be. So he's confident in his guys, and that confidence trickles down. That makes Bryce confident. That makes everybody confident. And now it's just the chemistry. Everything's just flowing right.
Yeah, and this offensive line, you got to give credit to the big guys up front to be able to do that. And to distribute the ball to all those receivers and running backs and tight ends, you have to have the big guys up front who've been banged up. Both of those guys 2 years ago, big dollar guards, weren't in this football game. You get Austin Corbett, he's back in the lineup after missing several weeks, back out there, and now they just continue to click on all cylinders. Bryce has time, Andy had time, and when you do that for any NFL quarterback, they're going to be able to find the open route, open guy, and the Panthers have a bunch of those guys who can get open now.
It is such a great point about giving credit to the offensive line. You guys have both done that during this show. As you said, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, both out at guard. Austin Corbett comes back at left guard, and they have had 6 different offensive line combinations in the last 7 games. And Mike, it's not affecting the running game at all.
Not at all. I mean, one thing is for sure is that you have a quarterback that is going to get you in the right position, right? Quarterback's going to make sure that the line's going to the right places. But also, I want to start again with Coach Canales. Calling the plays, knowing where his strengths and weaknesses are on that offensive line. Like getting Taylor back was huge for us this week, right? So being able to run in between the tackles, run outside the tackles, and having receivers that are willing to block. You know, that's big in the running game, having receivers that are willing to get in there and get dirty.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, as we said, Panthers have won 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5, and they are coming back home this week. Tough stretch here, especially at the beginning. Buffalo Bills at home, and then they go to Green Bay. 2 division games after that. Al, what do you make of this one against the Bills?
Yeah, I think this is perfect, setting up for the Panthers coming off of a 3-game winning streak to host the Buffalo Bills in their building, a defense that, hasn't looked up to standard up there for Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. So I like that matchup of styles with this running game versus the Buffalo Bills. Green Bay, they've won football games, but they've stumbled through them. The Saints are better than we thought. We say that every week we come in here, and then we know what the Atlanta Falcons are going to bring to the table. So I like where the Panthers are. I've liked the confidence that they've built, and you're going to learn a lot about this team in the next 4-game stretch.
And Mike, how big is that? Tommy Tremble said a couple of weeks ago, he said, now we go into every game expecting to win. So when you look at those 2 games coming up next, how much more confidence do you have as a team that's on a roll?
Well, I think when you expect to win, you prepare to win.
Yeah.
It's a different way of thinking about it, right? You come in on Monday a little bit earlier. You go in on Tuesday, your day off. You prepare like you're going to win in order to not disappoint yourself. So the next 4 games are going to be huge for us, but I think we can pull them out.
I tell you what, I saw those guys coming in early. I saw you cross paths. You cross paths as we were coming in, and we come in pretty early. All right, we just said that we got 2 division games coming up in the next 4. So let's take a look at those NFC South standings. Tampa Bay Bucks at Monday night. On Monday night, we're going to talk about those Monday night games in just a minute. Falcons had it close there for a little bit with San Francisco, but ultimately they pulled it away on Sunday night, guys. What did you see from the rest of this division?
You look at the Falcons, they just, Christian McCaffrey, our old guy, just absolutely cooked them on Sunday night. The Saints, they're trying to figure it out. They're at the bottom right there. But look at our Carolina Panthers right there behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are just consistent. And we'll get to see them a little bit later on tonight and figure out what they can do. But, man, the Panthers have done what they're supposed to do. They've dug in. They've gotten better every week, and that division looks really good to me.
As you said, hanging on to that second spot. Speaking of the Bucks, let's talk about Monday night. We ask you guys to pick these games at the end of every show. So, Mike, I want to start with you. First game of the night, you got the Bucks at the Lions. That's a good matchup.
Yeah, you know, Baker Mayfield's playing like an MVP candidate, but somebody else is too, and that's Jared Goff. I'm going Detroit all day.
I like to hear it. Al, what about you?
Yeah, the Detroit Lions, that defense, especially the secondary, was banged up. That looks like they're right for the picking for Baker Mayfield. Getting Mike Evans back tonight, but I'm going Detroit. That team is good in their building. They're not losing this one.
All right, spoken like true analysts and true Panthers. I like to hear that. All right, next one. We've got the Texans at the Seahawks. Al, let's start with you on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Seattle right here. I like their running game. That defense is stout. They're not going to give up many yards. The Houston Texans, injuries, inconsistency on the offensive side of the ball. I like what Sam Darnold and the guys are doing. Jackson Smith and Jigba at the wide receiver position for Seattle.
Mike?
I would just say ditto. He said everything I was going to say. I'm picking Seattle as well.
All right, you guys will win together or lose together. I love it, and especially with that Tampa game. Yeah. We're hoping that your pick of the Lions is right. Happy Victory Monday once again, everybody. Happy Victory Monday, and thank you to my amazing co-hosts. And we'll see you right here next Monday.